Newsome, aka Beckett Mariner, and you are listening to the Sci-Fi Sisters. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Tamia, and this is the Sci-Fi Sister Show, where we give you our point of view. I'm joined today by my sister, Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
And we are so excited to bring you this show today because we have a really special guest in store. And this is our second time trying to make this happen because we actually made it happen in person once before. And now we're going to do it again for real. And so you probably know her. I'm sure most of us know her as the voice of Beckett Mariner from Lower Decks and as Captain Angela Ali from Space Force. Or you might be listening to her podcast, Yo, Is This Racist? She is the one, the only, the incredible, the lovely, the hilarious, the talented Miss Tawny Newsome, baby, y'all.
Ooh, thank you. The hype. Yes, I'll take all the hype I can get. Thank you. And, this isn't us doing this again because, podcasts are like improv. It's like a baseball game. You can't repeat the move. So this is just, that was practice the same way you have practice if you're a baseball team, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And this is the game. This is the real World Series.
Yes, because Tamia press record.
Now, you didn't have to throw her under. We are 10 seconds in.
Damn.
We are.
That's right.
Yeah, my countdown says we're 60 seconds into this episode and already the finger pointing. Y'all like the Spider-Man meme. Like
I was not going to say anything until just loud. I said, no, you have to press record.
You couldn't wait. You were that, Yvette, be real, Yvette. When you were in class, were you that little kid who teacher's like, okay, and that's it for today? And you're like, teacher, you forgot to assign the homework.
Maybe. Maybe.
I feel that for you. I feel that energy a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. I can take it, Yvette.
I love you to death.
Look, my Lower Decks producer, Brad Winters, told me a story because we recorded, we had our practice record at Star Trek Shy. We did it in person. We got to meet in person. It was really great because then when I saw y'all the rest of the weekend, I was like, hey, girl, then I knew you.
Right.
So it was nice to meet you, and it was unfortunate that we had technical bobble, but I meant it in the moment when I was like, you will think this is funny. I promise right now it feels devastating, but we'll get it, and then we'll have a fun story about it later. And I meant it also when I was like, I am not affected by this. Please don't feel like I'm mad or whatever, because I'm a podcaster. This stuff happens. I've been recording people, recording guests. I've had massive mess ups way bigger than that where it's someone that I couldn't then get again because they were just like too famous and they disappeared into the wind. But my Lord X producer Brad reminded me because he was like, how'd the Sci-Fi Sisters recording go? And I was like, well, it went great. It just didn't go into the machine. And he was like, oh my God, this keeps happening to you. Remember season 3, we lost like 2 episodes of Lower Decks. We lost your audio. And I had completely blacked it out because, we record like, I don't know, almost a year ago at this point for season 3. I don't remember those recording sessions. And I'm not going to say where I was. I was not at our home studio in LA. I was somewhere else. They were using a different studio, a different engineer. And I'm not going to point fingers, but something happened to that audio and it was just gone for this was 4 hours worth of work.
Oh my God.
So I had to go back in and re-record it. But I also I love that job. So I didn't care. I think they were worried that I was going to be like, how dare you?
Right.
Oh, this is fun. I get to be Beckett more. This is great.
Right, like you were going to suddenly go from Beckett to Miss Diva and my time is too valuable to come back and record for you.
I don't say words twice. How dare you?
How dare you?
So it happens. It's all good. Now we're here again.
Right.
Yes.
And it was cool too because in Chicago, we had this Black fangirl connection all together too,
Yes.
which, that was just that was the dope thing. Chicago, Star Trek Mission Chicago had all the Black nerds came out and represented strong out there. And that just felt like so much love. I mean, it was amazing.
So much love. There were so many fans that just like, I almost felt like they just needed me to see them and to like see that they were there, like, because they weren't even necessarily like huge Lower Decks fan, like they were just kind of all Trek fans, and they weren't coming up to talk about our show. They were kind of just coming up to just be like, hey, like, bear witness, we are here, like, I see you, you see me, we love Star Trek, okay, peace. And I was like, oh, I love this. Like, you don't have to get in line to get my autograph, but like, if you see me sitting there at a table and you're a Black fan, you want to just come up and talk about Star Trek, I am fully down for that.
Yes. And I think everybody was. I mean, everybody we talked to was like that. They're like, yeah, come, talk to us. It was awesome. It was, I felt seen, I guess, too.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. It felt good.
y'all have such a special little corner of the internet in your lives with this podcast that I think is so rare. Because I know for me, if I have my Black friends who I want to like chill with and talk about Black stuff, that doesn't completely overlap with my group of friends that are Star Trek fans. So I think for people to be able to talk about this with other Black folks is really, really special.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
so do I. Like, I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, Sci-Fi Sisters was born, because we were trying to have conversations that centered our Black experiences, we filter Trek through these experiences, and in more non-Black spaces, our cultural point of view is not very well received all the time, or even if it's received, it's not understood, and you can't often have a conversation that's really simpatico, with people, and people might be trying to understand, but they don't get it, like, did you see Miss Celia Rose Gooding as Uhura with the bonnet on, with the Starfleet bonnet?
Yes, Starfleet do-rag, absolutely.
Starfleet do-rag, yes. There was the emblem was on it and everything.
The Delta.
The Delta.
I know. I said like, bonnet. Yes. I meant the do-rag. Yeah.
The do-rag.
No. These are they're interchangeable.
What we was talking about.
I know what we're talking about.
The Delta was such a nice touch. I was like, I need one of those.
Right.
I need that.
Everybody.
All of us.
And that was the conversation. You knew who was behind the words, because they're like, so where is this? Right. Is it on the? Is it on the website? Where are we buying this? Who made this?
Right.
Somebody? Is it like a fan? What Because that was always okay. I need this now. Bring it to me. Give my money. Give it to me now. Yeah.
Like that broke Black Twitter.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like what? Okay.
Sure. Give me all the do-rags.
Sign me up. Well, one of the things that we talked about before that like a conversation that I really enjoyed was talking about growing up as that sort of different kid, like I was a kid that straddled different cultural lines and was definitely not a kid like in the norm of my peer group. Like I listened to a lot of different music, like I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, right? So it was punk, it was rock, along with all the funk and the soul classics, there was like, Bad Brains thrown in there. And then like, the goth stuff was big. And, I mean, it like the Smiths and Susie and the Banshees, and my parents could not relate to me. They were like, what is this stuff that you're listening to? Like Talking Heads and, all this stuff. And they were like, but my friends, and I was a sci-fi geek, right? Like a sci-fi and fantasy geek. Like I had my head buried in a book all the time. And like, I wanted to live in these fantasy worlds and I wanted to talk about them with people. And I had very few people that I could do that with. And sort of like you were saying now, like your groups of friends sometimes like they don't coalesce around the same ideas. And it's like, you feel like sometimes one part of you is one foot is here and one foot is there, I mean, can you talk about like your growing up experience with ideas?
I think we probably had a lot of similarities. I was a kid in the Bay Area in California, but I mean, like outer Bay Area. I'm from Vacaville. We thought we were the Bay Area. You could get to San Francisco in under an hour, so that felt like the Bay Area. But I also lived in the country. So my parents are split. My dad lived in town more, like just in a, a regular housing development. But my mom lived in a rural setting, and we had horses and pigs and chickens sometimes. And we went through a stint with a couple of Barbados sheep, which kind of look like goats, but they're actually sheep.
Oh,
so we had kind of a little, in the Midwest, I think you'd call it a hobby farm, because we weren't eating any animals or selling any like products. So these were all just like kind of just like high maintenance pets for some reason. And I was like a little rock and punk kid. I was very into like alternative. I was really mainstream for a while. And then a friend of mine who worked at the movie theater, so I thought he was the coolest man on earth, handed me a Pixies album. And that like changed my life, because I was like,
God.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Music that I don't just hear on the radio. I've unlocked cool. I have now unlocked the keys to cool. And so that started me taking my little self down to San Francisco, going to the Amoeba Records in the Haight. That was my hometown record shop, despite it being an hour from my house. That was where I felt like I could be myself. The employees were cool to me. I felt like I asked for cool things and they rewarded my taste. It was very like, it's a poser's dream to be validated, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, totally.
Exactly.
So that was me. I was listening to the Pixies. I was riding horses, doing my little rodeo events on the weekends. My dad's side, all my aunts and uncles were like athletes, and my uncle played professional football and stuff. So they were, my black side, they were kind of popular kids. Like they were kind of cool, mainstream. The Newsome family has been in Vacaville for a long time, and people sort of knew them as like the jocks, frankly. And like, I so didn't identify with that. I'm the oldest of my generation of Newsomes. And when I got to the high school that they had all gone to, my youngest aunt is only 10 years older than me. So I was like the next person to get there. And I had some of the same teachers that my dad and that my aunts and uncles had. And I walked into the gym for orientation, and we had to like line up by our names or whatever. And when I gave my name, all of these coaches ran up to me after.
Oh my God.
Like, Newsome, we haven't seen a Newsome in a few years. All right, what do you want to do? Volleyball? You want to do this? You want to do basketball? Blah, blah, blah. And it should have been like a meme. I was just like, where's the drama room? I want to do choir. Oh God, they were so disappointed because I'm tall too. And I was just like, I'm too awkward. I don't want to be in the sun. I really didn't enjoy the sun. I just wanted to be inside, like reading
in the band room,
reading some Brecht. Oh my God, I had lunch in the band room my whole life. Never was in band. Just ate lunch in there. Why? Who knows?
Yeah, that was me in the AV. I was in the AV squad. No windows, just hanging out in there. Yeah, I had the same thing.
Nerd.
My brother was
troll,
10 years older than me. Get there, they're like, "You're gonna play basketball." I'm like, "Okay, where's the library?"
Yeah. Not for me.
Yeah.
I did it, but I'd rather be in the library.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
I was not doing the sports. Like, I managed the softball team. I did that
because you're organized,
right? I don't know why they suckered me into it. They were like, "You need some type of PE. You need to be out in the sun, girl." Like, and I was like, "Ugh, do I really though? Yeah,
Right.
Like, do I have to run? Because that's not my thing."
No, thank you. No, thank you. Now I love to be outdoors. I would, if I could do high school over again, I bet I would be like a fake little jock. I don't think I'd be good at shit, but I would definitely be like, I like games. I like to kick stuff. I would probably do that over. I would just try and do it all. I'd be like, I'm going to be in the play, but I also want to try and be on the soccer team, even though I'd be bad.
Right.
You'd be bad with everybody else's kid.
That's true. Everybody's bad.
Right. Everybody's bad. That's what you get there for. Get better.
And that's where our paths diverge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but back then, Tamia, we would have been like this. We would have been like watching the little American release of Sailor Moon.
Right, exactly.
Come after school. Oh my gosh. I was convinced. I was like, I just need to find a man like Tuxedo Mask. And now that I'm a grown up, I'm like, a mysterious, like borderline abuser? What are we talking about? Right. This is not something to aspire to.
Do you remember the cartoon Dara?
Daria?
Daria, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Daria was my girl, man. And
Oh
her
yeah.
friend Max.
I fancied myself a Jane. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm Jane. I'm Jane. My friend Shar could be Daria. I'll be Jane.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my shit.
It's coming back. Isn't Tracy Ellis Ross doing it?
Really? Are you serious?
Did I make this up or am I conflating it with two things? I think Tracy Ellis Ross is playing
Daria? Really?
Who is the black girl from Daria? Welcome to Sci-Fi Sisters, a podcast where we sit and Google stuff.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Daria, American sitcom. Was there a black girl in? Oh yeah, Jodie. She was one of the popular girls.
Yes, it's a Daria spinoff. She's gonna play Jodie. I knew I read that somewhere.
Oh my God,
that's gonna be funny. That's gonna be
That'll
funny.
be really cute.
Okay, yeah. I can't wait for that. Yeah,
I watch
Sci-Fi
anything
Sisters
with
will
her
be
in
all
it.
over that. It's such a good time to be a black nerd right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Thank
so
you,
much
internet.
right?
Yeah.
Like we have so much good stuff going on, and and so many black actors getting a chance to really show their chops and stuff like, and you not least among them, because I swear to God, Lower Decks, as Yvette was saying, got us through the pandemic. There's,
me too.
I won't steal your words, Yvette, because you say it so much better than I do.
Oh, well, we were on the cruise and we were doing a panel with the Seventh Rule. And I was saying how, it was horrible. The pandemic was absolutely horrible. It just shut down everything. But then Lower Decks came on. Star Trek came on. And Lower Decks was... when they announced it, there was no way I was going to like it. I was like, nope, I'm good. But, all Star Trek is great. Just bring it on. It's just not going to be for me. So I love that show.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it definitely, because you could have slipped into a quiet depression during that lockdown. But knowing that Lower Decks was on, it was funny. There was so many Easter eggs. It was smart. And it just brought all of our Star Trek people together. It brought our communities together, It was everything we needed, especially Star Trek fans. We needed that. And it was, if you weren't a Star Trek fan, I always say I felt sorry for you because we had Lower Decks, Lower Decks. We could go, oh, remember that? Oh, remember that? That's from, and it was funny and it was smart and it didn't talk down to us. It didn't make us feel like, we had to have a PhD to understand what was going on. But it was great. And I think Star Trek saved us, in particular Lower Decks, because we all could have been, we all kind of messed up from it anyway, but at least that we had that, which was Lower Decks. And I think it is probably one of my favorite shows. And I don't laugh at most shows. I think some shows are funny, but I guffaw at Lower Decks. So.
We really dialed it in for you. We said, Yvette thinks this showed it for her. You know what we're going to do? We're going to give her references. We're going to give her a black mom and daughter dynamic.
Man.
Yes.
We drew you in.
That is what did it for me. Dawn Lewis. Come on.
Right?
Come on. That's all you got to say.
And she's the captain?
I'm sorry, Jaleesa?
Jaleesa's the captain, y'all.
Jaleesa is the captain. I said
and she got locks.
Right?
And she got locks. Okay.
I said that in one.
I didn't see that.
And this is why I'm so grateful for the Sci-Fi Sisters, because you make that reference like in our group, the Mothership, we made that reference and everybody was like, yes. And I made that same reference in another Star Trek group and they were like, huh? What? It's like, crickets, what?
Oh boy. You're like, my jokes aren't landing. Help. I need my people.
Yeah,
right. I know. Okay. That has been my whole life. Like the multiple Venn diagrams of all my interests and projects I've been involved in. So rarely, I feel like I'm the only person standing in the center of all those things sometimes. So it is so joyful to find shows like yours and people like yours and just people like you and just so many of the people I met at the convention where I was like, okay, there's more of us and there's I know that we're out there, but like before, when Discovery came back, when Discovery premiered, I had not heard any promo for it because I was not active on Trek Twitter. I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know Trek was coming back at all. And I think I was literally watching, I had Paramount Plus, or at the time CBS All Access, because I was watching The Good Fight. I was obsessed with The Good Fight.
Yes.
And I was obsessed with The Good Wife. And so when The Good Fight came out, I was like, I got to keep this train going because it's The Good Wife, but black people?
Right.
I'm in.
Right.
And I called my mom and I called my dad like separately and was like, Star Trek is coming back. And they were like, we know. We're Trekkies. What are you talking about? We know this. You're late.
Like, we've been known this.
Right? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm late. But like what I did with all the joy that watching Discovery gave me and like being back in the Trek world with new Star Trek was so overjoying. But what I was too shy to do was like really engage with the fans or like get into the Trek Twitter at all. I just was like, oh, I'm not like enough of a Trek. I don't want to get like quizzed. You know, I didn't know if like, I didn't know how gatekeepery it was. I had some friends who are involved in the Star Wars universe and, you know, it just made me like a little scared because
bless
you know,
their little hearts.
Bless their little hearts, the stuff they do. And some of them are huge Star Wars fans, and I still see the way that people talk to them online because they were in one of the properties. I'm just like, no, thank you. So I was like, oh, I'm too scared to like engage with this fandom. But being in the show gave me like a power and a privilege to be like, hey, I'm in the show, and like I know how things work here, and I feel empowered to like not speak on behalf of anyone, but like I can speak from an informed and educated place about our show, and that's a way for me to celebrate my fandom and like give little nuggets of info to people. So that really expanded my experience as a fan because I think I would have always been too shy to do it before being in Lower Deck. So this is a long way of saying that shit saved me too. The pandemic was wild. It's not over, but the really, really dark parts of it were really tough, and having Lower Decks to look forward to, both to do and to watch and to, you know, engage with fans about online, was a huge just a saving element for me.
Yeah, it was for me too, and it brought me together. Like, I mean, half of my friends now are people that I met online virtually, you know, during the pandemic, and we shared all this time and space together. And then friendships grew out of there, and they're such meaningful friendships. And I realized, like, I was starting to meet some of them in person, and we're like, oh my God, are we really just meeting in person for the first time?
Right.
You know, like I know about your husband, I know about your surgeries, like, you know, like I know all this stuff, and like, you know, really intimate friendships have grown up, and you know, so I mean, it's just it's one of the very bizarre silver linings. Like, I feel for people who didn't have that type of outlet and support during this time too. You know, it's like the Star Trek community just I have found is always really comes together, you know, when we need to, you know, and we don't feed the trolls, like, you know, like what's going on in the Star Wars fandom is just when it comes up, when it does rear its head in the Star Trek community, people fight it, you know, and they stomp on that shit all the way down, you know.
And the franchise itself, like this is something I was just talking about on my show, Yo, Is This Racist? Where, surprise, we talk about shit that's racist, but it's a comedy show, I promise. But like, you know, I was talking about something that Kendra James said, who used to be the managing editor of StarTrek.com.
We love her. We love her.
I love her. She's the best. She needs to come on this show. She's the best.
Yes, she does. Oh my God. Please, Kendra, if you're listening, we hope you are.
And we know you are.
No, we know you are.
I'll text her right now. Come on this show. I'll do it. I'll do it live on air. But, you know, she tweeted out when all this stuff happened with Moses Ingram, all the racist trolls coming out, attacking her, like we know they're gonna, just the sheer fact of her existing in that universe on that show has people mad. Kendra said, you know, it's almost as if these large franchises need to say with their whole chest on every platform available, in every show, movie, whatever they make, hey, we don't tolerate this bigotry. If you're a racist, get to step in. You have no home here. And while Star Trek is not perfect, and while they do a lot of stuff wrong and have done wrong and continue to have areas they need to work on, I'll say, they are not only they're down with that idea of having that conversation in the writing of the show. So when people complain about shit being too woke or too political or whatever, it's like, no, this shit is strategic, because we have to say every chance we can get, we meaning the franchise, we have to say you do not belong here if you're a bigot of any kind. If you are a racist, you just will not find a home here, because it's not enough to just make a good show and then put a bunch of black people in it and then subject us to the abuse online, where when a bunch of racists didn't realize that the show they love so much actually doesn't align with their shitty values. Like the content itself has to say it, and everything else, the marketing material has to say it, the website has to say, we have to be putting forth fan articles and things, and we have to have promotional material that supports this idea of infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Like it is, but it is not enough to just put a black woman in a show, let 100 people call her the N-word, hundreds and hundreds of people call her the N-word, and then put out a tweet that's like, we resist, we don't do that. It's like, no. Y'all have not been on top of this since Kelly Marie Tran. You have not been on top of this with John Boyega. You were never on top of this. And yes, you're doing the quote-unquote right thing now, but it is the bare minimum. You're late. Listen to me coming for Star Wars. I guess I never want to work in this town. But truly, like...
You're good.
But it's true, though. I mean, that's the truth.
But that's what Trek has been better at, I will say, is saying with their whole chest all the time, get out of here.
Right. Like, you don't exist. This is not what we are about. This is not what we've ever been about. Like, really standing, like, I feel like, and the thing, I'm like, I love Star Wars. Like, I love to watch Star Wars and stuff too. My man is a hardcore Star Wars fan. I'm obviously more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars fan, but because Star Trek has always been about something, right? They have always been unequivocally about social justice, right? Unequivocally. Star Wars to me is more of the constant battle of the yin and yang. The fight between good and evil. And like, to me, like, I don't like it represents like some hopeful things, but that battle seems to never, ever be won.
Never end.
Never end. Like, it's just, to me, it's more of a statement that this is a constant state of human existence. Right. And I don't necessarily subscribe to that. Sometimes I do. It depends on the day, honestly. But I mean, Star Trek is so substantive and it's in our DNA, and I don't feel like they've the Star Wars franchise has ever wanted to take a stand one way or the other.
Right. I agree. And Star Trek is about us. It's about humans. It's about the human condition. So that's why I love Star Wars. I mean, that was my first fandom, I love those. I mean, honestly, all you need to do is watch those 3 movies and you're pretty much good. But, you're good. But that was my first fandom. But like, there's nothing else. There's no growth, I don't think, in it. I mean, it's always that constant struggle of good and evil. And then but what's going on in that struggle? How are you living in the struggle? That's what I love about Star Trek. We know about humans and aliens, but we know about the minutia that's going on in life. It's something that you could say, oh, I'm going through that too. This little thing kind of reminds me of something I'm going through. Where, I don't watch Star Wars as much as I watch Star Trek, but, I just don't see that. And I mean, do they even call us humans in that world? I don't even think that universe even calls us humans, right? They're not even, I don't even know what they are.
Look, I'm not authorized to speak on Star Wars. That's a weird thing where, like, I've seen everything they've made, yet I don't feel the ownership that I do like I do with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it all. I've seen Mandalorian. I guess I haven't seen the animated Clone Wars thing. That's probably the only thing I haven't seen. But everything else, I'm like, so I should feel like as much of a fan. I think I just didn't, while I've always enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't feel the ownership. Anyway, that said, if anyone from Lucasfilm or Disney or whoever owns you is listening, I am available. Space Force got canceled, so please don't listen to the first half of this podcast and hire me, please.
Yeah, I just read that about Space Force, and I am so, I gotta say, Netflix people like you done wrong.
All good.
Oh, okay, but it broke my heart.
Good.
But that's okay.
We kind of knew, we knew a little while ago that we probably weren't going to, we have such a, that cast is like, it was kind of lightning in a bottle. I can't believe we got us together
Sick.
to do 2 seasons.
It was
I
amazing.
can't believe John Malkovich graced us with his presence for 17 episodes of television.
It was so good. Oh my God. I loved you all as an ensemble, you know? I mean, everybody just
Thanks,
like,
we had fun.
oh, you could tell. Like, I mean, like y'all were zinging back and forth together. I mean, it just like, and by the second season, it clicked, you know. It was like, I felt that family. It was like, okay, like that work family, you know, like you got these tighter bonds with people, and it's not so surface all the time anymore. And, you know, you're invested in each other's success, you know? Yeah.
I'm just going to miss a black helicopter pilot. I think that was cool. I miss that.
Yeah. that was pretty cool. I loved doing that. I loved filming it. It was truly the best group of people to work with. Not a jerk in the bunch. I don't know how we managed that,
That's
but
pretty cool.
Everyone was cool and nice and fun and weird and great. Everyone's so weird. It was delightful to learn just how weird John Malkovich is. However weird you think he is, it's
even
weirder.
You're there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the things he likes are so, I think our first like 2 weeks of working together, he was just texting me like K-pop videos. I was like, who are you? Who is this man? One time he quoted Snoop Dogg at me out of the blue, and I was like, sir, who are you?
Oh, I love that. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear that. That makes me so happy.
That's good stuff right there.
Okay, so
can I ask one question? Maybe more.
Just
than
one.
Just one. So, how did you? I know you've. How many podcasts are you doing now? Is it 3 or 2?
Great question. Is this a thinly veiled attempt at asking if the pod directive is coming back?
Yes.
I'll give you all the scoop. This is the for real scoop. Okay, so I do Yo Is This Racist, and then we have so that's a free show. You can get it wherever you get podcasts. That's me and my buddy Andrew T. We take voicemails from wild ass people telling on their bosses and family and shit. And then we have a subscription website where you can subscribe to bonus content from us. So we do like lots of little stuff in there. Limited series pods. That's just like where we have fun. And then I do, what else do I do? Is that it right now? Okay. And so then the pod directive. Here's the thing with the pod directive. We did 2 seasons. We had a producer shuffle in that someone left the network, someone else got transferred to a different job. So basically we lost our team of people that make the podcast except for us, me and Paul F. Tompkins, the hosts. So then while they've been reassembling that team, we've just been like waiting until they hire the right people, they assign this other person. Basically, it was literally just like we went from having a full team of people to make this podcast to we have no one except for me and Paul and Kevin, our like engineer. So I don't work inside a secret hideout, so I don't know when that team of people will be assembled, but they have told me every time I see one of these producers, because trust me, as much as y'all bug me on Twitter about when this is coming back, I am bugging them equally.
Yay.
My reps are bugging them. We're like, hey, when are we doing this? Because I hate that there's been this long gap. And the producers there, they hate it too. And they're like, we're so sorry. We know. We just have to get the right people together. And that is the truth. That's not any weird smoke and mirror shit. So once they do that, and my hope was like, I hoped we were going to start recording in like September, October. That would be my dream. And so that's what I'm going to push for, but we shall see who they hire and when.
Okay, so we'll all keep our fingers crossed. And
You're
yes,
welcome.
and thank you. Yes, because we love
You're
that
welcome.
show. That show, you guys did such a great job with that show.
I
mean,
love it too.
Oh.
And all of this was like, I couldn't put this in a tweet. So I'm sorry I've been like cagey about it, guys. I just couldn't like, I couldn't put it in a tweet without it either sounding like lies, like weird corporate smoke and mirrors, or without me sounding like I was throwing Paramount under the bus. Like they literally, you know how corporations go. They merge, they shift, people leave, you know.
Yep.
And I'm not going to edit and produce the thing myself.
Right, exactly.
Too busy.
Why not, woman?
Okay, I'll do it. Okay.
Send it to us.
Don't
We'll
you do everything? Come on now.
Yeah, look, we might be outsourcing in a second. Don't careful what you wish for.
Like, don't get lazy on me now. Oh, no. I'm dropping things.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What's happening?
Nothing. I'm throwing things around my room and dropping things. It's okay. So, okay. I want to go back a little bit to because we started talking about them and then we went on to other things. I really need to go back to the dynamic of the Freeman family on Lower Decks, because it is so powerful. First the Black mother and daughter relationship that is just a human, wonderful representation of a mother-daughter relationship, and I see so much of myself and my mother in their relationship, and then to know that dad's an admiral too, oh, come on, what a great representation, to show there, and that the family unit, the strength of the family unit is really strong there. Did you know about the whole family dynamic when you first started, when did you learn about this whole family dynamic?
Yeah, I think so. I think we reveal it all in the pilot, at the end of the pilot.
The first episode? Yeah, that's right. It was.
Yeah, but you're right. I had trouble tracking this. I had trouble tracking what the audience knew versus what Mariner knows versus what I knew as Tawny, who was becoming friends with Mike McMahon and texting him and being like, "What's going on here? What legacy characters are we going to have?" Blah blah blah. So I was having a really hard time keeping track of what info was where. But I do remember that the end of the pilot, you find out that Beckett is Carol's daughter. Carol's daughter, like the hair.
I know, right? Like the hair.
Hey. That's my hair.
The only Zoom I've been on this week where I could make that reference and have it hit at all.
Where's my bottle? Where's my spray?
Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing the Sci-Fi Sisters are.
The best.
But yeah, and then the dad being the admiral, I don't know if we... Yeah, because Carol says she's your daughter too, in the outro of that episode. So the audience and everybody learns about the dynamic right away. I also knew that there were some things that Mike hadn't... I don't think he had fully decided yet when we were recording season 1, about why Mariner has a different last name, or whether Mariner used to work with Dad or whatever. I believe he's decided some of those things now, but again, I don't know what's public knowledge and what's secret knowledge, so I won't say anything. But there were some things that had yet to be decided about their relationship. But I did know that throughout the entirety of season 1, we were keeping the mother-daughter relationship a secret from the crew, and that it was both of their decision to do that. And then Boimler screws that up in episode 10, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course, Brad.
Yes.
Oh, Bradwood.
Oh, Bradwood.
Wait, can I ask y'all what you think about this? I've just been alerted to this. I've been alerted to the fact that a strong section of the fandom wants Beckett and Brad to get together. Are you aware of this? This is a growing movement.
No.
Oh, look, it is
none
a
of that.
growing movement. People have sent me Reddit screenshots. People are telling me that this is a thing that a significant portion of the wants, and I am tooketh abacketh.
Yeah.
Shooketh.
As well, you should be. No, I'm not for that. I did not know that they were shipping Beckett and Bradward. I did not know that, but I'm not surprised that people are shipping them.
No, thank you.
Okay, we got the verdict here from these two. They say no.
Yeah, no. The Sci-Fi Sisters are saying no to that. Thank you very much.
It would mess everything up.
Right.
No, I love it that, they no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they're kind of this lovingly dysfunctional sibling dynamic right now that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah. I
mean, let them find love in other places. And then they can come back when all that love doesn't work out. Then you have each other to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, contrary to the when Harry met Sally opinion, men and women can actually be great friends without being romantically involved. And I hate it when scripts devolve into that all the time. They have either they rely on sexual tension between a male and female character to get it going. They can't just be buds. They can't be pals, or if they are pals, then eventually that friendship has to turn into a romantic relationship. And I'm like, oh,
just believe it. Yeah.
Can we just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
that's
a lot
what
of
that's what happened with with Picard and Crusher. You know, they told us in the beginning that they were going to be a love interest, and then it didn't work out, and then there's nothing, and then that horrible attached episode, and you know, now people are like, she's coming back, so we got to put them together. But I'm like, why?
I
You
know.
didn't want them
Gosh,
together before, just leave it.
the decades old ship that people
Yes.
are either going to be, they're either going to be real disappointed or they're going to be very happy.
Yes.
And I don't,
You know what-
I don't know which one is happening.
You know what
Right.
I thought you were going to say? Like, you know what I thought you were going to ask us about? I thought that you were going to ask us about like the cliffhanger at season 2
Oh.
with Captain Freeman going out in handcuffs.
Oh, okay. Now I do want to ask about that. What do you think? Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen season 2, I guess.
Well, yeah, they should know better by now.
They should know better. They
We
listen
didn't
to the
spoil-
Sci-Fi Sisters.
They know the Sci-Fi
Okay, great.
Like,
Don't
we
come
gave
on
up
here
even
thinking we ain't
saying.
getting spoiled. So,
Y'all know
Yeah.
better.
so I was not happy when I saw it, but I trust Mike McMahon right now. So I'm hoping, you know, it's going to be good. But I am tired of seeing Black women in handcuffs and being
Sure.
arrested. I'm sick of it. But I trust Mike. At this point, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. But yeah, it kind of, it did me a little.
That can be hard to see. It's tough to have, you know, it's interesting to have story elements that are quote unquote the best for for the story you're trying to tell. I guess I should say plot elements that are the best for the story you're trying to tell. But there's a lot of dynamics you got to take into account. There's going to be things that just sit differently on Black characters for sure. And I think Mike's done a great job every season, but I noticed as well in season 3 his writer's room is very diverse, and he has something that I think is really important. He's got not just a diverse writing staff, but he has diverse senior level writers, which because a lot of shows really want to, I'm not talking about Star Trek, every show in the universe that thinks they care about diversity in the writer's room, they really love to pat themselves on the back because they've hired like 4 staff writers who are Black or brown or queer or whatever, and then every person that Black or brown or queer person reports to, every EP, every senior level writer, are all white. And when you are not in a position of any sort of power in the writer's room, it becomes more difficult to affect change. So I know that is something that's important to everyone at Star Trek, but I know Mike, and I know that he wants to protect these characters as much as he wants to protect his actors and his show, you know?
Yeah. Well, I hope so, because I love Carol Freeman, because she is, I didn't think I was going to identify with a cartoon character, of course, but I just identify with her so much. Because I am, you know, a mom. I was in the military, and you know, I have these, I have 3 Army brat children, and believe me, that time when it was Carol and Beckett with the what was it, the rock? That rock is that was me and my middle child. Every time I see it, I'm like, I can see Jay to go, do you need me to get the rocks thinner? You know, she's always that one, like, please stop, you know. And sometimes I delight in that, and sometimes I'm like, it's not me, it's you. So yeah, I see that, and I love that. And to see her, and you know, she was just evolving into this great captain. And then all of a sudden, you know, she decides to stay. And then the last scene is she's walking out with handcuffs. I kind of, it took me aback. I was like, wait, what just happened? But I understand that, you know, we're moving into season 3. So I know it's going to get better. It's deeper. You know, you can't keep throwing jokes out, you know, sooner or later, we're going to have something deep. Cause I know I could feel that this is going to be a classic, Star Trek series. So I'm waiting. But it did bother me a little bit.
For the writing,
for sure.
The writing, like I loved it as a story. You know, I thought it was a great cliffhanger, you know, and it wasn't until I sat with it in a minute, I was like, damn, it's going to be controversy. I hear it coming, but I'm one of these people that I try not to prejudge, I'm like, I don't have the answers yet. I don't know. Like, I it might look one way and it might not, but I'm not going to judge it yet because I haven't seen the outcome, and, like I posited a couple of theories online and stuff. I was like, maybe it's a deep, dark secret agent thing. Like, we don't know, but I have faith. I try to have as much faith in the writers as possible, especially in Trek, and then, we'll let, history be the judge. But this particular group of people who are making this show, I have a lot of faith in them, because what they've given so far has been so excellent. And because their responses to fan questions and fan interactions are so well reasoned and genuine and carefully thought out, they because they love this show as much as we do, because they are fans, I have I have a good feeling. I think it'll be fine. I think we'll all be fine.
I recorded that 13 months ago, so I don't remember what happened, so I can't even tell you what happened. I can't even allay your fears. Is that the word I want? I have no info because my brain erased everything that's happened in season 3.
Right.
It's really bizarre. I didn't have that experience with seasons 1 and 2. I really remembered a lot of what's going on, and I think now I don't know, my brain hit a capacity, and whenever I talk about something in season 3, I'm like, what is that again? Where am I? So we're all going to see together.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Like, you'll be watching with us
wait.
again, and we'll be like, oh my God, did you guys see that episode? That was so good.
Yeah.
I'll be like, whoa, I said that? Wow. Like, they're truly going to have to give me synopses before we do press for season 3, because I do not remember what happened. Yay.
That's awesome. So hopefully you'll come back also when season 3 comes out. We'll love to have you back again.
It.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I know.
We could do it. We could probably, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
We'll schedule.
I was wondering, are you still doing any music right now? Like, or are you just mostly acting?
Yeah, I am doing some music. I put out an album in 2020. A lot of Trek fans bought it. Thanks, Trek fans. It's called Material Flats.
Yeah. Okay. That was what I was about to say. That was Material Flats, right?
Yeah, thank you. That was me and my homegirl, Bethany Thomas. We've been singing and making music together for over a decade. And, we've been a part of a lot of people's bands over the years, and whether as backing singers or whether as kind of co-lead singers. But this is the first time that we really sat down and made something together from scratch that was kind of just ours. And it was really special. And it was very much a early pandemic thing. I mean, she drove from Chicago, her and our guitarist Patrick Martin, they drove from Chicago out here on my little Southern California compound and just lived out here for a few weeks while we wrote and recorded this album, and then put it out 3 months later, and we did it all independent. I mean, I had to learn to engineer myself and record everything. It was a lot, but we had time in June of 2020.
Right?
There was time. There was not a lot of work things happening. I was actually recording. I was doing a lot of recording for season 2 of Lower Decks in this very room as well, in my little recording studio. So between recording Lower Decks and recording that album, I felt very I just felt very dialed in. And now making music has a little bit of a different shape for me. I am trying to do a solo album. I'm doing it. Yay. It's just I really like the focused approach of my band's getting together for 3 weeks and we got to have 8 songs by the end of it. I love that.
Nice.
So I'm trying to spread out the work and do it when I have time by myself, and it's harder for me to have deadlines that way. I kind of I like a bum rush, But yeah, just making music, just kind of for me. It doesn't really, this is not something that really earns me a lot of money. I was happy to be able to take the proceeds of that album and pay my band pretty well, the people who helped me make it. So that was important. I kind of feel like I'm fortunate enough to make a living from TV. So music, as long as I can just pay the people I work with, that's the vibe there.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Nice. I got to say, one of the highlights of Star Trek Mission Chicago was you making time to go on stage with our Trek Geeks podcast network brothers 5-year mission. And if you guys, man, Tawny got on stage with them and performed Psycho Killer. It was awesome.
Yes,
it was so fun. Those guys are so good, and like weirdly, that mod looking TOS uniform for a band is such a good look for a band.
Right?
It is. It really is.
What a cool look. Just like a little shirt and a little vibe. I was like, yes. But yeah, Andy, right, from the band, he had been very yeah, he'd been so persistent all weekend. He was like, do you want to sing with us? Because I had said on Twitter that I would. And he was like, here's when we're going to go up. Here's when we're doing this. And, you know, that was my first big convention. So I was a little like being pulled in a lot of directions. So he was very patient with me because I made a lot of promises and then didn't show up. So when I was finally able to, I was like, oh, phew, okay. I did.
What's so funny about that is when we first talked to you, like, oh, this can't be taking too long. I'll have all kinds of time. Me and Tamia looked at each other like, do you know your Tawny Newsome?
I didn't understand. Because they just said, okay, and then 2 days you'll be doing signings and pictures. Here's the pictures window and the rest of the signings. And I was like, why on earth do they need me for 8 hours? I'm not Kate Mulgrew. I'm not George. I'm not Shatner. These people, and it did not take me as long. I did not have the lines that those people had, but there was a steady stream of lovely people coming up to me. And like I said, a lot of it was people who weren't buying anything. They were just like, we just want to talk about Star Trek with you. And I'll tell you what, when I have the energy for it, I welcome that.
Yeah.
And when I don't, I'll be like, I'm too tired. I have to go to the green room and need a snack. I'm so sorry. You look great, though.
Need a snack.
Yeah. I love your Orion outfit, but I must have a granola bar in private.
I think a lot of people don't realize like how much work conventions are for the celebrity guests like yourselves, you know, that they get. Like, you guys really get very little time to yourselves, you know, at a convention, you know, especially like because you're there at the autograph table all day. And when you're not there, you're doing photographs, and this stuff takes forever. You know, like people know that their little time of space of time that they get to go with somebody, you know, it's like 15 minutes, like or less than that. And that's the end of their experience, you know? But for you guys, it's literally all day with just a little bit of a break, you know, and kudos to, you know, our folks our Star Trek folks who make that commitment to do that type of work at conventions and give that back to the fans and do it with such grace and dignity. Because I think these days, you know, we don't have those horror stories of, you know, how like we used to get of how like, you know, some of the other actors used to treat fans and used to treat doing these conventions, you know, but now people come with humility and grace and some love to impart that to people. And it's so appreciated.
Yes.
For me too, I didn't understand how much it was going to give me as well. And like, yes, I am someone who also gives a lot in each interaction, and so it can be kind of emotionally draining. I'm learning. I'll learn how to do these more efficiently, but also how much energy certain interactions gave me back and how much joy. I mean, meeting you guys was one of that. You know, our practice record, that was energy giving and boosting and like, we got to like talk and share, and it was cathartic. And then when I saw you the rest of the weekend, it was like, just that little spark of connection. So those moments give you energy. I will tell a quick, very heartwarming story. So backstage, and you know, I'm geeking out backstage because I'm getting to meet. I am one of you guys. I am just a fan like all of you. And yes, I work on the show, but also because my face isn't on the show, and because a lot of the legacy actors, maybe they don't watch Lower Decks. They don't know who I am. So they just see me run around, especially the day we were in costume. I think some of them just thought I was like a volunteer in cosplay, like running around backstage. And that's fine. I did have to tell a couple people, like, I'm in Star Trek. I'm kind of like you. And they were like, oh, that's nice, dear. But no, I mean, most part everyone was lovely. Yeah, they were like, "Are you You're in Star Trek, you say. Okay, congrats. They like move away from me. But no, I was having such a great time. Oh my God, I was talking to the Enterprise cast. I love those dudes. But okay, so a person who will remain nameless because I don't want them to seem like I don't want people to be mad at them. But this person was giving me advice and saying basically saying I noticed you at the table. You're giving a lot to each person. You're giving them a lot of time. You're really engaging. You're asking questions. And they were like, and you just don't have time for that. And you're going to learn after a few of these, you really need to edit down how much energy you're giving out. And I was like, okay, this is sage advice from someone who's been doing this 20, 30 years. Okay. And they're a nice person. No one complains about them being like jerks at their table. So I was like, okay, they've just found like a balance and maybe I need to listen to that. And then I met Alexander Siddiq, and this man, I mean, first of all, took my breath away. I couldn't speak. He was my first crush as a child ever. Number one. Oh, wow. He's still so magnetic, so charming. And he looked at me and he goes, I love you on Space Force. And I went, what? Why? What? I can't talk about this with you. He was like, my wife and I, we watch it, blah, blah. And he starts talking about my character on Space Force. I'm losing my mind. So anyway, so I brought up the thing that the other person had said to me. I was like, I'm learning. I really need to control my energy in these things so I don't get worn out. And he goes, fuck that. No, you don't.
Yes.
Give everyone exactly what you want to give. Have every interaction be like it's your only one of the day. And if you get worn out, then maybe the next one you tell someone, hey, I'm a little worn out right now. But he's like, just be your full self and be honest, and you'll get so much more out of these interactions.
Yep. That's how he is. Yep.
And I was like, oh, shit. Well, in a world of that other person who I think is great, an Alexander, I want to be an Alexander. That's what I want. And if I get worn out, so fans, if you catch me and you're, the one that catches me when I'm a little tired, I'm just going to be real with you and be like, I've been going too hard. I'm so sorry. I can't ask you about your dog right now. What do you want signed?
Right.
But at least it's going to come from a real place and not me
it'll be genuine.
Trying to throttle my whatever.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think that's first of all,
the best.
Yeah. You got to meet, Dr. Bashir, like his fine self. I remember one of the first times, even way before he was ever thought about Deep Space Nine or Deep Space Nine was a thing, or maybe concurrently. Do you guys remember the Agatha Christie mysteries that used to come on PBS all the time?
Yeah.
And you remember the ones with Hercule Poirot? They had David Suchet do Hercule Poirot. Alexander Siddig was in one of those, and he played the character's name was Shaitan or something like that, and he played like this mysterious sort of North African eccentric rich guy who was a collector of rare things, and he ended up getting murdered, and then Poirot had to figure out who murdered him.
Solve it, yeah.
And, it took me years to realize I had been watching this. I've seen that episode so many times because I'm like a diehard fan of those things. And I was like, oh my God, that's Dr. Bashir. And he was like super young. Oh,
yes.
I loved it.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, I kind of fell in love
wonderful.
with him then. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him before, but I'm going to change that one day.
Highly recommend. Really. Yeah.
I'm a super fan of his. Well, I know we have gone all the way around the bend,
That's okay.
It has been awesome. It has been so wonderful talking to you. I really feel like we could just we could do it forever. I just get so much joy in the shared experience and the shared love and, the different perspectives. And thank you. Just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Absolutely. Thank you both. I hope that this lives up to our practice round. It probably is better because now we have a familiarity. We're just chopping it up. We were probably able to go a little deeper. So yeah, I'll have to come back and we'll have to do more and
please,
keep the celebration going.
Absolutely. I told you, you can't get rid of the Sci-Fi Sisters now. You've got us for life.
I don't intend to. I think I'm going to need you to be by my table at the signings and being like, Tawny, do less. Tawny, do more. Like, you're going to have to regulate my energy. I'm not going to be able to.
Let's go.
We will be
hype.
And you have, I would be remiss if I left out the fact that you have two more sisters that you have yet to meet.
I know.
Yes.
You're shielding me from the full cabal here. I need everybody.
The cabal, not the cabal.
Girl, you're going to get that energy next time. You're going to get the full force of the Sabrina and the Fran.
Yep, absolutely. Are y'all going to Vegas?
Well, I am. Yes. I think they're all thinking about it, right? Or
like some form or fashion of the Sci-Fi Sisters will be there. We don't know how many of us are going to be able to make it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will be there. They haven't announced me yet, so I don't know if I'm breaking a rule by saying that, but I don't care. I will be there. I'm very excited to go.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Cool.
That'll be real good.
Well, thanks, you guys. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I'll have to come back when season 3 drops. I think we don't have a date, but the last 2 came out in August, so maybe this one will.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully for Star Trek Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably. Oh, yeah, Star Trek Day. I need to put that on my calendar. I didn't have it on my calendar last year, and I had booked something else, and I missed it, and I was so sad.
Oh no.
So now I'm like, every year, I just got to remember Star Trek Day. Don't go nowhere.
Right.
Don't go nowhere.
Stuff happening.
Right. Like, and it's like you got to be glued to the computer on Star Trek Day for sure. Folks, thank you for listening.
Exactly.
Tawny, thank you for being here. Yvette, how do people reach us?
You can find us on sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us on the Mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. Download the Trek Geeks Network app, where you can find us and our family of podcasts on the Trek Geeks Network. On Instagram, sci-fi.sisters. And we are also on the Twitter at Sci-Fi Sisters. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and leave a review, and we may read it on upcoming episode. Maybe I can get that out.
And there's more, right? And there's more spelling because we got to shout out the baddest sound engineer in any and all universes as Dose the Anonymous One. If you need musical skills, music production skills, or engineering skills, hit him up on Instagram at Dose the Anonymous One, Dose_the Anonymous_1 on IG. I'm not going to spell it this time. It's Dose. No, okay, fine. I'll spell it this time. DOS_THEANONYMOUS_1. I'm not saying write out the letters, the number 1. I'm telling you, it is the numeral 1 on Instagram.
The numeral.
The numeral.
The numeral 1.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Tawny, for being here. And we will see you all next time. Yay. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Thank you. Bye, bye, bye.